when I begin to look at this, I asked myself several questions. I say, why? I check the whole thing. Now Africa, because you always like to assess Africa. When you check all the African countries, we then take into consideration. I ask why Sierra Leone is unhappy than Guinea and Liberia. Yeah. You understand? It tell you say there are a lot of things that we need to put into consideration: infrastructure, education, a huge lot of other things that we need to put into consideration.
You see, to my own perspective, the look of things, I believe say it's correct. I'm not gonna say everybody, but most of the people are not happy, including myself who they talk. Because if you watch presently the potential youths them, with future leaders them, where we expect say in years to come, they will take we to who say we want for people. They're all long way to drugs. So if you they see Sierra Leone and brother or sister, they go astray, so they die slowly with drugs. If you say yourself go happy, no. Now one reason I don't make me happy.
This report well-being basically talk about your personal opinion on your condition of living. So I will tell you, say I'm not happy, but I will tell you Sierra Leoneans generally not happy, but it's by the grace of God. Because if you look at, for example, the economics, if you look at the political, if you look at freedoms, all of those things they're so challenging. So personally, I want to say the report depicts my opinion.
Please subscribe to my new YouTube channel Don CLIN and hit the notification bell to be notified for new videos.
Alright, we continue the breakfast show. We can in our studio as we get with two guests them this morning for come look at waiting at some of the issues them we make Salone continue for the bottom na the happiness index we come out this BNTM outside the rank Salone 46 out of 47 country them. Salone the second to last after Afghanistan. Waiting at some of the indicator them where the world can look for when they put together this happiness index. Now that's what they can discuss in the studio this morning. We get two analysts them. The first person we are going to introduce is Marcus Bangora, where in a political analyst and also a civil society activist where they talk on several issues them. Good morning, Marcus, and welcome to the breakfast show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, to also get Melvin Tijan Mansare, where a social commentator, a good governance advocate, and also a journalist. Good morning, Melvin.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
All right, we don't tell reviewers them about the index so they can analyze this morning. With technician and go projector now, let we see how the country then day accordingly, and Salone day at the bottom, it day 46 out of 47 country them immediately after Afghanistan, and we get other country them we then at the index. Finland day number 1, and according to research, Finland done in this particular spot for about 8 years. And some of the things them we can look for now issues of democracy, good governance, human rights, freedom of speech, and a whole lot of other things them we they look for. But they start with you, Marcus. What do you think say are some of the reasons them we make Salone continue for perform poorly na the happiness index? And if you watch within the internet, some of them people there within the country there, so the world can consider and say na sad people them. We mean say country that they perform poorly, all my within that country they not glady, everybody vex. Within are some of the indicators them.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is very, very, very important for the discourse because of its relevance and the world at large. And being that Sierra Leone, with the right to the bottom, I think, Salone 146. Then you get Afghanistan with the 147. You get Finland with the 1, and a lot of other countries in Europe, because now Europe dominates the scale we look at. Even America, they are about 24. The UK cell phone out of big country, 23. That notwithstanding, this is a very sad news. When you look at the historical perspective, this world happiest country that started in 2012. If you look at the statistics from 2012 to now, you see say we just go behind in the sense that we don't make any developments, but rather we push the go behind because we call them a geometric retrogression, because we expect say with a lot of things that they go on. We for don't see this country also in terms of happiness, for be happy. But when you look at the nature way they do the parameters, it's quite different from other index that we don't get. For example, we talk about the MCC index. We not merely the people in the meet and question them, but rather they look at policies passed, But when you look at this, now we self give the answers to the questions already asked, whether we're happy or not. The ordinary man, we make them very, very empirical, as compared to other areas there, because you meet the man on the street, you ask him question, I am happy or I'm not happy. You get a lot of things where you take into consideration for that. Income. Salon per capita income is low. It was about, I think, about 470. It's Leone per person. Because you talk about the per capita, you look at the whole people in the country and the resources you get, you divide them. When you divide that particular amount they want to get, one person gets about $470. We very, very, very small, So as a result of that, the per capita income is down. They look at the issue of corruption and governance. We now one major issue where Salono face as a challenge for some time, for quite too long, but we always at an ebb where very frustrating. So when you look at that corruption, the state of corruption in the country, of governance, you look at, because we always talk about good governance and bad governance. The opposite of good governance is bad governance. And when you look at a lot of issues then, they find out, say, with governance system not well structured. If you look at the internal dynamics of the government, that is to say, party, business, like the SFPD, for example, currently in governance, you find out, say, the internal wrangling within the party, a major reason we undermine governance in the country. So that's one aspect that they also, you look at the issue of human rights. We know say there have been a lot of human rights abuses. And when you put all things together, even political instability, there are certain things that we treat with a pinch of salt. They make people happy. Because if you look at the situation as it is, you look at the political situation in the sense that we conflicts. If you look at the past years, so now you look, stability is small. But we don't face a lot of issues in terms of political stability. All that's the way they put together for measure whether the people in the country happy. Sometimes people like talk say, this government is greedy. When they say government is greedy because the flow of cash not the day, which they make me too happy. When they say they go on, you look at the aspect of unemployment is huge. Because now when you get job, you well paid, you go happy. Even when they will get job, you understand? Now, Peters, look at teachers all over the place. So they will not be happy. So another aspect before that, you look at access to education. And the access to education, it don't necessarily mean say that because education there, but the quality of the education. All these things put together, among others, then there are parameters for measure whether a country actually happy or not.
So from your analysis, the reports not lie, it resonates to waiting actually they happen at the day-to-day life of Sierra Leoneans.
The results not lie. When you look at them, a very authentic, empirical in the sense that it's not about policies the way government pass. Like you get the MCC, they talk about pass radical inclusion, we physically challenged for good school. You understand it? But in actual facts, if you check, you find out say there are lapses. Let's say you get free quality education. But this is about the people, and the people are in the question. If they meet me, I don't know if they are aware, they ask me whether I'm happy or not. So that one good thing that about this index, because now the people and they give the answers. It's better the people give the answers than you meet certain institutions, individuals them, or state officials them, they ask them. When you ask them, they give you the wrong information. But that person in the street, when you meet her, you want to know about how it live, it give the right thing. So as a result of that, there is no way anybody will actually cripple this, except because of fanaticism. Right? But when you look at as fast as the ordinary people them, they ask. When I begin to look at this, I ask myself several questions. I say, why I check the whole thing. Now Africa, because we always like classes. Now Africa, when you check all the African countries, we then take into consideration. I ask why Sierra Leone is unhappy than Guinea and Liberia. Yeah. You understand? It tell you say there are a lot of things that they put into consideration: infrastructure, education, a huge lot of other things that they put into consideration.
You think say we governments they take this index seriously? Because if you look at them, for the past 3, 4, 5 years, we still also within at the bottom. When they pull the reports, they all side and don't they know. You think so then they take their index as serious?
By all intents and purposes, government suppose for taken into consideration. But if we look at from the past years, then we look at especially 2018, because in 2012 the result was not too good. But eventually from 2012 to 2018 or 17, there was an improvement. Immediately after, yes, hold on. Immediately, because now we get Salome, I think about 138 in 2012. That was the first in the world. We didn't do, right? Maybe they 138, but eventually to 2018, right, to 17, it calmed down. But after 2018, we see a kind of geometric progression. You understand? Like the country, they progress retrogressively. It will go up, right? So if you look at that, it means government not ever take this serious, right? The government is supposed to take it serious. They take it with a pinch of salt. Otherwise, government for not double the efforts. And make sure say this report not fine. And one of the major functions of government, right, now the provision of socio-economic services for the people then, right? It don't mean say forgive them free, but they make her in a way in terms of availability, in terms of affordability. But when you look at availability and affordability, it's far-fetched. So it's a very serious problem, and government not ever, in my own opinion and view, I hold very strongly.
Continue for the week. We'll come back to you shortly. Let me just bring with other studio guests in, Wayne and Melvin. I will just start to ask you, as a citizen of Sierra Leone, you don't see these reports, we don't come out today down at the bottom of unhappy people in the world. Are you happy?
Having been banned from Parliament from January 10, a source of livelihood being disconnected. Personally, my experience, you don't need to ask me if I'm happy. The situation, the circumstances, already the detail why I'm not be happy. So, from a personal, and your question is very important because this report, well-being, basically talk about your personal opinion on your condition of living. So, I will tell you, say, I'm not happy, but I will tell you, Sierra Leoneans generally not happy, but it's by the grace of God. Because if you look at, for example, the economics, if you look at the political, if you look at freedoms, all of those things, they're so challenging. So personally, I want to say the report depicts my opinion. And again, like Marcus they say, we need to get a background as to where is this coming from. Firstly, the world's #1 university now in the champion is Oxford. For the last 9 years, they've been on top. And the Wellbeing Center, it's an interdisciplinary professional body of all walks of life. And for the last, on 2012, they don't do this report. And Marcus used one word. They are basing the reports on empirical evidence. So there's also any figments of imagination or just a perception. It's something where entails a lot of academic research and work. So this report cannot be discredited at all. And for the fact that United Nations, Gallup Institute of Pollsters, they're all involved, it's basically talking about World Happiness Day, which is on March 20th, and how happy is the world. And it's clear that Nordic countries are more happier. And it's clear that African countries are much more unhappier. So from a Sierra Leonean context, firstly, like I said, this report is indisputable, basically, because you turn the microphone over to Sierra Leoneans, just go on the street, if you ask person, say you gladly, the person they vex by you for that, in normal sense.
When you look at the analysis, how the researcher them go about for identify Finland, Denmark, the Netherlands as the happiest country them na the index, based on how they rank them. One na that na Finland, anybody 5 out of 10 people the way they meet up, everybody they smile. But country the way perform poorly, Afghanistan, Sierra Leone, all man where you they see na street, no they smile. Where they show say the people are not happy. And some of the indicators they look for quantify to the happiness, now issues of democracy, human rights, good governance. All of them things there with the current happening in the salon. It is shown that the people in faces that make country the like salon way perform poorly in the index. Everybody in face twist.
Definitely, because although they say that you not get any magic for no waiting person, I think that Shakespeare there is no, of course. So if you look the face normal, sometimes you know what say you the actual picture, but many people, by virtue of where you go on the streets, they say waiting the left now who's standing at their face, and even some people can climb on their office or business places because of stress. All right, so of course, if we want to talk about the difference between we and the countries that we mentioned, they are much more of a welfare state. Unlike we. Welfare states in the sense that the government concerned about where person sick, what can be done, person in education, person where they work or not they work, how for cater for them. But for Sierra Leone, let's just look at employment as a yardstick. How many Sierra Leoneans get quality job? You know, just to mention earlier on in the opening corridor, they take, well then they retaliate to the industrial action. So if that person already did not say, ain't no get work, that person can be happy. And of course, you look about social safety net programs. You ask yourself, the last time I was social safety net program under NACSA. I don't know when last was that, but basically it should say, in as much as from the personal people are not happy, where you ask yourself what can be the drivers, and one of which have to do with governance ineffectiveness, poor service delivery. You go to hospital, you get for strand, even if you get the money. Person not gonna be happy. You go to school, you get for expected and get for activity for pay for pamphlets or extra charges. You can't be happy. So all of these issues put together affect we ranking so much. But in detail, Khadija, we for Marcus, you talk about we GDP. We are taught with the third least GDP, and we ranking na 529, as you really rightly say. So definitely, if person not get money in pocket, I'm not glad, Khadija. But let me look at the benchmarks then quickly where they use. One, life evaluation, average 3 years for the last 3 years. So if we want for piggyback, this is 25, 24, 23. You look at 2023. If you look at the report, 2023, in context to Sierra Leone, it was a political year, right? The report, they tell you, say, political polarization is one of the root causes of people's happiness. And that can be apparently true in Sierra Leone. Look at the outcome of 2023 elections. How it end in disputes and how it put the country to a hold. So if there is political polarization, as in the case of other countries like America, they say not do very well and come inside the first 20, it is obvious we end with a disputed elections, opposition say we're not glady, other side they say okay, we'll move on. So that in itself definitely therefore speaks to the fact about what's in the happen na Sierra Leone. But you look at also the rating from 2012 to now. So that means they not just look at 3 years, they look at progressive reporting. And I like the word Marcus used. We've been progressively unprogressive in making strides with this report. It's quite sad. It's sad for a government where we make lofty promises in a manifesto. It's sad for people where we be very optimistic that, well, when we vote, change will come. And this report also they talk about how happiness affects people's voting behavior. So if this report is anything for go by, we should not be surprised why there was a dispute in the 2023 elections. Because if for the last 3 years people have not been happy, and then say according to the empirical evidence, if person not happy, it affects how you go vote, then no wonder we have a contested elections. But there is this other aspect also of the report where I think very much important for highlight. We got to do with the fact that, well, it talks about explanatory factors, social support. Not just use a simple basic case study, social support. What has the government been doing on the Kush pandemic? What has the government been doing when it comes to alleviating poverty? What has the government been doing when it comes to providing its so-called 500,000 jobs? So if you don't have those social benchmarks in place, definitely the report itself, you say it's an explanatory factor that if you don't have it in place, definitely you will not be scoring well, and I'm not surprised. GDP per capita, we already know Sierra Leone is the third least LT life expectancy. You look at generally for the life expectancy in Sierra Leone compared to the sub-region. We on is, I mean, what is that, 40 or 50 something now? It's still compared to other countries that already clock over 50. So healthy, the health sector, definitely we are still grappling with infants and maternal mortality. We are still grappling with low life expectancy. So if you don't have those benchmarks in place, definitely. And also you talk about freedom. Freedom, the simple analysis I get for Dunaya, in Sierra Leone, it's a taboo for let people stage peaceful protest. And if you look at the report, freedom of expression, freedom of association, all these libertarian freedoms, if they are not being visible or the people in or the feeler, then definitely no wonder why we did it. So the report is and I also talk about emotions. For me, academics are interesting. Emotions. Sometimes we turn a blind eye to this, how we feel. When you grab someone, so let's say from the report, Sierra Leoneans have negative emotions about their life. It's quite scary. And what this is it's like what we say, we stress. Emotionally we are stressed. And what this also mean for security, it means the peace is fragile.
Yeah, because even when you work on a street, you hit somebody a little. Beware the blaze, you said go wonder, wait up we respond that way. People are really not happy. But if we look at if Nabine reports and where they come out saying Transparency International, Afrobarometers, anyone way like show anything clear small, you go hear people glad in governance especially. But for this particular index we don't come out. If you look at the past 5 years, for example, Salono don't perform well. You think say governments really they focus on this kind of index? Because if we want for change with position na the index, now, seeing them service delivery where government supposed to improve on, so that when they ask you citizen, perhaps they were able to say, I'm happy with this and that. You think so they take this index serious?
In theory, but not in practice. In theory, they will tell you say NAXA day, then get social safety net programs, then the benefits so people that will not go afford it. That is theoretical, and some people actually go say them benefit. But in practical, I will give you a simple case study. Sierra Leone and the use of one of traditional enjoyment in Salona, lantern. Ask yourself, when was the last time you see lantern floats parade? Some of them things I would take for granted, they mean a lot for people like happiness. Okay? So that's freedom for example, you say right now, I want to go to a beach for go relax. How much people can afford that? Talk about transportation, talk about cost and all that. So the government in paper go say so, but again, what are the policies in terms of making people happy? Do we have any happiness policy? How many recreational facilities that we get in Sierra Leone? How many things then where you go look points at say, oh, government establishes for let we just go happy? I think the only happiness park where we get in Sierra Leone, if it's not the amusement park, is the Victoria Park. Outside of that, if you want to feel happy, perhaps you go to a beach.
So as a nation, are we underrating happiness?
I think we are underrating happiness, and no wonder mental illness is rife in our society. Because we take and say, if you put number well in your business, we've lost our humanity, and that's what the report is saying. Almost look at generosity. Maybe almost putting your mind look you right now, it's like I can give maybe 1 million. Or say, Marcus, let's go for lunch. You know, I mean, someone go and do it. But you cannot give what you don't have, Khadija. So if people are not generous, and in fact this government is characterized by this they say money and short. It's part of what makes people happy. It's kind of be criticized APC, APC they are corrupt. But you cannot, in terms of generosity from a state standpoint, You cannot compare it to SLPP. SLPP will tell you that, oh, we have policies in education, oh, we are delivering in terms of intellectual and elitist perspective. But in terms of the grassroots, the ordinary people, we are not feeling the deliverance. So I think many people need for deliverance services, follow get this delivery where the government deliver. So for me, that emotional aspect is quite important. We see many people return to drugs, and if you do research, one of the reasons for drug addiction is stress.
All right, let's come to you, Marcus. When you look at the pattern at salon, the things that would make somebody happy. For example, a family. Una go na restaurant, get good meal. Una go na beach, just get a good life. Drive 5 motorcar. For Salona, then go if you dey do them, then go say, hey, this is money. That least man not able to afford all of them things there. But yet still people in governance get policy them, where them believe say now for give citizens a good life. But the index that they show say Salon people that are the saddest people in the world. What's the mismatch there?
Well, when you look at the situation, Sierra Leone, of course, we're not happy, and it's clear. Melvin mentioned the drugs, say Kush in particular. We understand, say, one of the major reasons then for that, and because of frustration. You get a lot of people that we don't even graduate, relegate themselves to that particular level because job no day. Now the issue of, for leverage that's the question, now the issue of sincerity, because governments, they paint a picture as if we are fine, as if everything is okay. They come with one safety network, Munafa, is that the name? Yes, and they big talk about that, but how many people actually benefited out of it? And who that then have been the targets? Because if you don't get party affiliation, it was very difficult for you to get them. And when you come to division, right, the only thing they take into consideration, the political divide. When you say you satisfy certain group of people in terms of employment, if you take a move around to certain institutions there, you see the people that we work there, you see there is gross division. You understand? Because they cherry pick who are for work in a particular place. I remember somebody tell me, say, one office, the guy in job now only for draw line. For just draw line the paper. You understand? When you get plenty of people out there, we're able to forget the job. So government in the first place forgets the political will and open mind, and for no say, this is Sierra Leone. And if it is Sierra Leone, it comprises of people, and now we all get the country. So everybody for be considered. But then no, they happen. Because you look at, like I mentioned before, most times at the country, the Mano River Union, where it come in terms of fuel, Salon get the most expensive. Now, for people are not happy in the country. Recently, we see where businessmen in Kana streets, they demonstrate because of the price of container. Where they say government, they try for impose, say they for pay about 250,000, you understand, 250 million. With perhaps almost $10,000. Then if you look at the people the way they go, sometimes like the one that are bacha, not that they get money, they keep put together. So which then they take for Canada $20,000. I tell you, they look at don't buy, which they don't pay, they get for pay for the ship about 10,000. Wait, put all them things together, which you make out of it, so you will not be happy. You see, when you look at even Kumbradem for good school, you understand, send a picket in a school. Look at what happened recently in a national Pentecostal school. You understand? How people are happy. We became school at the end of the day, they got missing and they die. Even the gender ministry not ever pull a statement or say we visit the people them. You understand? So how people are happy with that? Unemployment is higher than the one that we employ. You understand? People they suffer on the street. How could individuals in Sierra Leone be happy? They're not happy. You look at, they say we get free quality education. But then they come, when you go for admission, parents say they go to the extent of paying more. You understand? How people are happy. I look at, I say, I try to do a kind of a juxtaposition between Finland and Sierra Leone. I know say it's far from rich, but I ask, you know, for like for know, I say, what to make Finland, you know, happier than Sierra Leone? A lot of factors come in. You understand? One, the economy. The economy not stable. You understand? That's the one major factor they take into consideration. When we talk about life expectancy, you know, you look at all entities today, but the factors, infrastructure, these are the things you put in place. Finland, yeah, in theory, it is free, but they spend the free. I've been a teacher, I taught for a while. That you look at the picking and they pay in terms of fee. And you look at parents as well. You look at almost parents and they spend. It's not about just saying we get free education. Free education, you put them together, the amount of money not that big. You understand? So, yes.
But Marcus, another school of thought could say happiness is a choice. You know, for allow something around you for influence, whether you want to decide for be happy or not. It's possible for all of the factors that we don't make mention of this morning, let them not there at all at the picture for let somebody be happy. We talk about the economy, governance, and all of them things in there.
The issue of choice are one of the determinants that we use. You understand? And in my own perspective or their own perspective, you forget liberty for choose what you want. You understand? You forget that liberty for choose what you want. You understand? So if you don't get the ability for choose what you want, so if they mail you for me, so we come out, so you go and say for slag or relax or slag. You understand? But that choice they don't get for maker. Because look, they don't relegate our force of parliament, so be the drag. You understand? So you look at that, you look at all the factors there, you understand? Eh? So it's not going to be possible. But I'll tell you, you're not going to be happy without them factors there. So for economy, fine. So
that slogan really, where the boys and kids are the streets, say man, they're not glad.
So it's part of the assessment. Because the one that we do this assessment, now very strong academics then. Then take into consideration sociologists, psychologists. You know, when you say psychologist, right? Sociologist, right? These are the people where they actually conduct this particular which is FIASO, right? Because if you look Melvin, so you tell Melvin. You understand, eh? Like, I remember, OBD Fabric College, Bangura Banks, that a medical doctor, the guy saw which is that newspaper, the guy in newspaper. He watches you know, it tells you, for example, you get HIV. So there was always, you know, a kind of confusion, right? So psychologically, look at somebody, we don't happy. Just like you mentioned something, you go work and so you mistake jam somebody. Even me, somebody jam me self, I need to talk now. Because if I talk, no problem for me back. You understand? Somebody hits you to take the drive, they hit you to car. If you don't take time, they will kill you. So Sierra are not happy because of this factor. And government for redouble their efforts. Government for ensure say them treat this particular issue as very serious. Because we expect the progress for the not a retrogression. But we did the progress with the reports. From 2012 to 2017, right, the highest was 138 at that time. Now for this area, we have 140 no more, which is 146 now. Right? Because the countries of the world, about 147, where they do the assessment. Out of that, Salon Day all the way to 146. If you look at the Mano River Union, Côte d'Ivoire, right? Then they're 98 in the assessments. If you look at Liberia, they're 129. You see?
So this brings the question, all of them countries that we make mention of, not third world country there, and country like Côte d'Ivoire, they still get their own issues, but then they perform a bit better than Sierra Leone, now the index. Also, you feel say the difference there? What then they do right?
One big question is they mention corruption and governance. Corruption and governance. We for try, I look at I compare Salon in Finland, corruption, business not today. So we own country for try for lower corruption, but rather with the make corruption the high, corruption the go up. We look at the governance structure, you know, a very, very poor in terms of administration in various areas until we're able to correct the areas also. Now look at governments, why if you say governments they impose a lot of taxes? Governments would expect say you get a lot of area for tap and get resources. You look at electricity, very poor. You look at the issue of safety or security, it's very poor because people are even afraid. You understand? Therefore, come and invest in the country because of which they go on. So until we're able to address that, we look at them countries and they, like Sierra Leone, we get similar challenges there. You understand? But in terms of infrastructure development now, you understand, in terms of governance, since the war ended in Liberia, they get stability than we. Since we war end, we don't get more of instability than Liberia. Guinea is a junta government, you understand? But Guinea, let's get some amount of stability, although certain time, you understand, when you see crisis they come up. But it is easily put under control. Freedom of speech. We get freedom of speech, we don't get freedom after speech. You go, you talk, and if we don't get criticisms being leveled or speed bump created for government or any individual, there is possibility that they go worse. You look at, for example, Liberia, when the people have said they protest against the former president, it was with them because I right for protest. But Sierra Leone, you look at the Public Order Act, they will frame even way a very clear say that we get rights, you understand, for protest. Look, the first lady led the protest. You understand? Now, Connor. So as a result of that, if only we go use that, we demonstrate that kind of thing for protest, because you are dissatisfied. Look like we did that episode, so we're unhappy because we are dissatisfied. Because if you get satisfaction, it doesn't necessarily mean that you forget 100% satisfaction. It's not possible. Even in Finland, you understand? But that amount of satisfaction, for day, but day, it's lacking.
Marcus, talk to Melvin before we listen to what the people at the street feel about this particular index. Salom being among the 5 least countries, them at the bottom 5. Salon at second to last after Afghanistan. Now, an exact reflection of the people.
Yes, because the question, the microphone was turned over to the people according to the report itself. This is about people's perception, people's experience within they live, and therefore with their well-being, how they feel satisfied with their life and conditions around their living. So, of course, the point you describe, there is a nuanced point you're raising, which is, could there be any contradiction? I don't think so. There's only an irony in the fact that Sierra Leone was ranked one of the most peaceful countries, but yet still.
Far back.
Well, not too far back. I think one of. I mean, in Africa, we are among the first 3, first 5. Yes, we were. Yes.
Ghana.
So you put that in tandem with, for example, Burkina Faso, other countries that will get military regime. You ask yourself why. Where the bigger question here is the absence of the guns or relative peace not mean say people in Gladio. So in as much as government will say or international ranking will say, Sierra Leone is a peaceful country, but yet still it's a fragile peace. I use one diction say now like a Yebe kind of situation. People are on the edge, under a warm but on top a cold. People are only waiting for the moment. And now I know why I try to understand why the governing class always they frown at people organizing protests. Because I tell you, Khadija, if people are not glad, even what is supposed to be a peaceful protest might turn violent. There is this conflict management theory that frustration by aggression, wherein if the person not happy, like what you say, anything can frustrate her and make it turn to something else. So yes, that is an aspect for consider. But there is another irony we're going to talk about. Every now and then, MCC and other players will say that we are doing well in the fight against corruption, and we have been ranked very high. But unfortunately, Sierra Leoneans, in practice, not really say this is true. So we speak to the broader problem, we're going to do it. The figures or the facts versus the reality. You can be having the facts and the figures, as we see this government, they're very good at data analytics. They say, oh, we don't create so, the economy has done so. That is figures. How it translates into affecting people's lives is a big mismatch for the governance architecture. So we get very good laws, very good policies, but how then they benefit ordinary people and well-being? That is where we're getting it wrong. And the bottom line is governance ineffectiveness. I'm not surprised. If you look at MCC for the last 5, in fact from APC era, we've been consistently failing on governance effectiveness. Why? Because in practice, things are not happening. But in theory, people are telling that, oh, now this we don't do, now this we don't do. So it speaks to the reality versus the figures. And we are getting it wrong also in that. Because if you say you depend on, oh, we are ranked high, we are doing very well in the figures, you go miss the reality. And the microphone always are the people that must ignore.
Young people in life, they be wasted now due to drugs. There's this young girl where one power reporter then go talk to. What they watch in story, it really sad for them. It don't depress to the point now. It a thief people thinks them for just go take kush, abandon a man in picking them. And that story then they not to see peculiar, they bokusai. With all these reports, for sure say the people in Asalo really sad. Now indication of them things there.
Absolutely. There is this celebrity house of star. Is she called Esba? That lady. Samira. When you look in video, it send a message past within the video that it tell you say on your own you don't try for come out of addiction, but you're not able. Of course, addiction is a personal choice. Don't not forget that you need to blame governments or institutions for that. But where we can fault institutions or the states is the fact that almost rehabilitation facilities do we have in Sierra Leone, apart of Christiad. They are not there. So if the person wants help, the government itself, in terms of providing social services towards that direction of removing people from addiction, is not there. Do you think that person is going to be happy?
Get access to the drugs.
And the drug in proliferation. So if the government itself or institutions cannot curtail or fight drug trafficking or drug trade, if the government has facilities in place or services for pull people from addiction, of course that's an indication that people are not going to be happy. Because you see the lady crying at the video. That means they say not so. Yes, I contribute to, but in one for get out. But where are the institutions?
In all of this, Melvin, should the government be worried, saying people are not happy?
Of course, it's a time bomb situation. It's a threat to peace.
But are they paying attention to some of these index?
Well, I think that's why we are here, to draw their attention and call for action. Because at the end of the day, even the government's viability and sustainability is threatened. Now we know why we see an incident on November 26th. Why? You think if people in the forces are happy, they will turn to unorthodox means for take power? No, so the government self, they might see this as a political conversation. They might see as, oh, this is against our interest. But this, I tell you, their reports here, it affects every Sierra Leonean. Because also to APC no more than go talk to. Also to SLPP no more than go talk to. They talk to Sierra Leoneans from nook and cranny, from all walks of life. So the government foresee this not as a political report, but as a social problem waiting for be addressed. The more we get people away stressed, the more these people can turn to other means for sort themselves out. So it's threatening to the person with this kind of report, but it's also threatening to the states. And not only the states, institutions for exist for looking into some of these things. We need for prioritize happiness. You know, because we're also used to suffer.
But like you said, happiness is free.
Happiness is free, but there are drivers to make it free or not free. Kadisha, if you want car now, then you don't get fuel. Kadisha, if you want car now, so now you cannot meet light. You don't have now use happy one, but if you cannot get in an office, you don't meet light. Can you be happy?
Exactly, like the current state of Africa now. I'm not going to sleep and black out the window clear begin laugh.
Of course, you hear mosquitoes don't fit, you hear hot don't fit. I mean,
so man are not glad.
Man are not glad, and the states must look at this with seriousness, because the implication are not just only economical, social, but it have to do with security. And if you put that in tandem with the TRC report, don't be surprised. Some of these things within the catalog of this report, so TRC we don't talk about along where they call them causation factors to the war. So when you say, okay, I can say you're a politician and they use the rhetoric, oh, we are resilient people. I can tell people, when you see a politician and they say we are resilient people, that's it technically or indirectly, it's a we are sufferers. It's a political rhetoric. That means we are sufferers. Resilient in what? We don't have choice because people don't get choice, but everybody get a choice. Maybe everybody wants to live a better life. But the states, institutions, and the individual get equal responsibility.
All right, Melvin, we can go na the streets of Freetown. Also, Liberty been give the mic to some people for let we know exactly if this report we say Salon they second to last after Afghanistan. For the country they were not glady and the people now the saddest people when are we going down on the streets of Freetown? Also we reported them go give the mic to people follow we know exactly if Salon people not glady.
When I report them send. If you ask me like I ask me from my own view, I go look like say they might right. To my own perspective, the look of things, I believe say they're correct. I'm not going to say everybody, but most of the people are not happy, including myself when they talk. Because if you watch presently the potential youths them, with future leaders them, where we expect say in years to come, then we take we to who say we want for people. They're all long way to drugs. So if you they see you know, Sierra Leone and brother or sister, they go astray, so they die slowly with drugs. If you say yourself go happy, no. Now one reason and it will make me not happy.
Well, if I go say much, I go about CSCS, I'm so happy because the situation they're going to the country. With the youth man, especially when they want transport, but they feel it's thin and they suffer actually. Go on, first with the one, now certain streets and over the one, with the get passenger on the boat. They at least go on other streets and they would able to get to family and can survive us. As long as they don't ban at 32 streets, they will be CS. We expect them to be banned at some only inside PZ, inside Eastern Police. We go say okay. But then ban at 32 streets, they be at least we able to take passenger go and them now the tension. Policemen and now they want to really push in the street, push through passenger, they will go for don't take go back there. We lost 500,000. And all landing are constrained to we, our family and the state.
Well, yeah, true. I would like to come country happy and all. Because you only want to fight for me. Because with the bag, can you buy 2,000 euro for cup, now at 10,000 euro for 2 cup. Right? Yeah, for the man, it's from money to man, it's from money to net, man, it's from money to folklore, man, it's from money to folklore. And then the country that was from man, and the community was not happy for me. Because they're all fine. You're already busy to themselves because the teachers are not getting the country.
When any individual get your opinion, so whether it's alone and the second or largest on African country, maybe not true or not true because we not justify. Although everything more than the country, we know the thing more than, but for this alone, I can't say but that's why they are not going to justify. Well, I'm not happy for now. Me and the soldier. The soldier will make a kind of vision here. I don't can get 4 girls picking them. The second one they college. The big one they college. Now the money when they say for pay for that college fee. Now Papa they buy before they have for that money. Say money they don't they get me pension. Pension at 50.
All right, well, that's now some people around Freetown where Liberty been give the mic and then give the reason them why they believe say yes, Salon, na the second to last country where the people are not happy.
And now reporter Hannah Bangra and the team been go out there for talk to people. I think, I don't know, now we just come over to Marcus. When you look at the expression of the faces of the different people, we reporter and talk to. What in kind of your mind?
Like he talks, the ice is not itself, but by the reflection of some other things. When you see the faces, when they show you in the interview, and the words that within the express, now it replicates the reports 100%, because it really should say they're not happy. We all not happy. He really should say we all not happy. A bad for the country, because the common man for be happy. You don't mean say them will get gently, but for happy. And for make we happy, you know, governments therefore do a lot of things them. We carry on just now, something in kind of in mind where I feel say, if government able for work or their one day, we could be happy compared to other countries. That corruption business. If government able for combat corruption, if governments not get secret cows, and when you commit the offense, make sure say they handle it properly. But the issue of politics, some people are waiting at the hem, for fight corruption. When they get political ambition, you understand, they allow a lot of compromise, right? Then also, of course, human rights. A lot of them people also they suffer so much for human rights, even health and human rights. Once you get issue, you go like Laconots, where you go first the directive first one side, where you go pay for one just paper with the photocopy. You understand? You pay for that first. Where you go, every bit of medicine you buy everything. And these are mostly poor people that make a use Conots. Understand? It's very difficult and challenging.
When you talk of poor people, if we look at happiness, we need to a situation wherein even the people who some they refer to the elites and this country, perhaps people in governance, so if you get access to majority of the resources, most of them you talk to off records, then go tell you say themselves not like.
No, yes, definitely.
How for manage that kind of situation here? We're not only the poor of the poorest, they complain say they're not happy, but also the one they're within at the upper level.
The whole issue is in the hands of governments. Governments for able for overcome certain things. But just similar things like this. For example, if you look at electoral integrity, a factor for the people are happy. You go through an electoral process in a very good way that I make. We talk about governance, we talk about electoral integrity, and one important aspect, youth unemployment. You understand? Then social inequality. There is social inequality and youth unemployment. If government's able to work on that, and I make them get Ministry of Youth, then focus for therefore able, you understand, for create employment. Not only live in the world of dreams and imagination. You can't tell people that will provide 500,000 jobs. At the end of the day, you don't provide 1,000 jobs. Understand? And you, the government, and the one day we provide the jobs apart from governments, like the institutions, them, you make them blabber. You understand? Like a big challenge. Now look at what happened at Connor Holdings. Because of which it happened, the man himself, it possibly is a retaliation. Now we pay now. So it's right now, better money need to go on. But that'll be the responsibility for continuing for pay. You understand? Now you see what's the happen there. You look at the issue of nepotism. Nepotism, they make people happy. If me, I not qualify, me and Melvin, we all qualify, but just because of nepotism, it belongs to a particular set of people, you understand? And they get job, me know they get job. And people are not happy. Like I talk, you have elite people that are not happy. Because even at the office where they work, there is diversity in salary. Some man go, then just take I meet on a Monday. But you can they pay more than the one that we meet there. So create happiness, you understand? You look at limited, this is very important, limited accountability and transparency. Right? And we are a major aspect of good governance. And it's very lacking. Government will say we're transparent, but there are lots of things that we're transparent today. Look at this restaurant and say Chinese government get us alone. We'll not even know for years. You understand? So there is no accountability, there is no transparency there.
Quickly look into Melvin before we take people and messages and come back to now. You just don't watch waiting Liberty Pool at the streets of Freetown. The people themselves accept it, they themselves not happy.
Because well-being defined as a state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. So if you, the one thing that you cannot hide from, you cannot run away from it. If you are not happy, you are not happy. And one area where they downplay Khadija, now the importance of entertainment and recreation. It's quite important. How most people get time for get entertained. You remember for go do entertainment so you angry. So fighting hunger also is quite important. How the person go fight hunger, where the person not get job. So they are all interrelated. But again, we talk about government. Look at the problems. Talk about housing, Khadija, house rent. Many working class, they work for the year just to pay house rent. That cannot make you happy. So the government, according to the report, they are talking about what policies they have in place, because they get very clear parameters. They talk about cause, effects, key drivers of well-being, and how well-being affects other outcomes like productivity, educational performance, and voting behavior.
policy and intervention. The government need to look keenly at this aspect of happiness and what policies can be tailored down that road. I'm not seeing we get any clear policy because social safety net is one of the drivers, but that is not clearly talking about, for example, for them picking and everything called right to play. For the adults, what do we get? Nothing. So the government will look at this as a very serious issue. International and local organizations, they also, almost organizations, they really target efforts towards making people happy. They are less or not even existing. So we need to tailor down that road. And of course, the person itself, you yourself get a choice for make yourself happy. Yes, institutions for help, the states for create the amicable ambience and environment, but the person is, it's about individualism too. You yourself get for make yourself happy, because if you look at the prevailing circumstance, there is no way people are going to be happy. So for the government, they must have specific happiness policies in place. Like one day in the year, say, okay, today we want to make less salon people and gladi. Yeah, so many forms to make people happy. In Bhutan, the report tell you Bhutan is a policy. They have several activities gearing towards boosting people's happiness. But salon, man remember what you go eat, you tell about happiness. In fact, you tell people about happiness, it's an insult. That, like for me, don't come on, I'm using I think about I have to look after my kids' lunch. I have to take care of other things. You can't tell me for say maybe you need for happy. If also holiday, see, only happiness is when it's holiday period.
Is there any way among ourselves as citizens where we go able for help we self navigate through this?
The sense of humanity, it come back to generosity. God not give people for because of you want for give them. I can't for realize say once you make Muslim in the fast, now for let the rich understand the plight of the poor. Let the poor understand the plight of the rich. So in as much as yes, philanthropy, almost philanthropists that we get these days in Sierra Leone, genuine philanthropists there. We're not so because of political ambition. So we the upper class. None of us this is a global problem. There is a report where say the one that will get the world's resources, the richest people in the world is just 1%. So if you don't say you're rich enough, it's your duty, it's your moral duty also for help the poor. So that aspect of we humanity would all sir. Now even the money man self now is afraid for letting us slip into poverty. But that is not the essence. God give you for let you help others. And that is the sense of humanity.
Entertainment. That's very important.
It's very
Start the time, you go say beside the time. I get picked away, just say, Daddy, I want to eat. You understand, eh? So they told make we go out. What's that keep about for go pass a good beach?
Yeah.
All I said, I remember go window na bibia. The mall left us.
Yeah, the park.
The park.
Yeah, exactly.
You will just sit down and say, make we go stroll. Yeah. You go stroll, you know, what now? I'll tell you.
And some countries like culture. Family then they eat weekend now.
Yes.
Oh,
once you want to learn self about this, they say we see the show happiness. Now where you get 3-4 people there or 5 people there together. Even America, I see the hits there once I say America it's not easy for make somebody call somebody say for
this fear.
The individual people.
Because the working as the freedom company this is that's why they sleep outside of the first 20.
Yeah. All right, now we look at text messages them where people they don't send now. The first one they take now na Facebook, they come out from Karim Kamara. He said freedom of speech is the root cause because if you allow citizens to vent out their challenges and the government build conversation to discuss and find solution, it will be clear that the citizens can understand government challenges which together provide practical solutions that will impact the citizens positively. But for people that brings out the issues are branded as opposition and face intimidation or incarceration to Great Pademba Road.
All right, look at more messages. This very first one I go look at from the YouTube channel. Brahma Sandy, they say this report should be a guiding tool for the government to address the concern of citizens. Lights and water no day. How we go talk about happiness? Talk less of jobs for the young graduates. Governments, please pay attention.
Musa Al Hassan Kamara, they say liberty, How will you expect Sierra Leone to be performing well when the economy is on a life support, political landscape is a mere mess, judiciary is biased and skewed, Sierra Leone is above Afghanistan because of the Taliban rule?
Right. We look at more. This other one from George Pius Nicole, we sim for the Leone. It say, I am happy because of the peace in Sierra Leone. What else?
Monty K say, absolutely, Melvin, you are spot on. It's crucial for Sierra Leoneans to prioritize mental well-being, which encompasses tackling mental health challenges, traumatic experiences, and psychosocial issues. Politics and human rights should not overshadow this essential conversation. When individuals like, okay, I will not have to call somebody name, we for ask for right for reply, can communicate, all right.
Look at more. Suleiman Kamara on the YouTube channel. It says lower levels of satisfaction in social support, lower satisfaction with living conditions, greater stress and anxiety, lower trust in government, and higher perception in corruption.
This one, they say, Mohammed Kamara says, since I graduated 2023 with a distinction, no job. So how can I be happy with my man I have a family to care for?
Cecil Taylor Freeman, Liberty TV is not only home-based Sierra Leoneans that are unhappy. Even Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora are very unhappy with the governance system, the economy, insecurity, and drug scandals.
Usman Kamara, they say the reflective thought leaders must employ is the reflective slogan, if it's you. In slums, ghetto, blind with children, no better health and good place to lay your head, clean water, etc., etc. If it's you in such situations.
Akonde Jawara said Melvin is one of the Sierra Leoneans that is not happy.
This one is, Melvin, please continue the good work and never back down for anyone, no matter the circumstances or challenges you are facing now.
At J na the YouTube channel say, I guess all of you in the studio are not happy. Allah sorry for we nation.
All right, one more, then we'll come back in the studio and wrap up. This from Ibrahim Lansana. They say good governance is characterized by strong institution, transparency, and accountability. These positively correlated with high level of happiness.
The final one we may go take regarding Liberty TV, Mr. Kekura 007 says, thank you, Liberty TV, for a job well done. At 24/7, good for information from Master. Very proud of you. I think they talk with regards to we figures them where they grow, and we ask that to continue for like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we will continue for break the grounds. And a lot of messages we don't come in this morning. Melvin, I see the laugh and so many messages seem for feel so like you are not happy.
Yes,
is it that serious?
Of course, it's serious. I mean, I will give you my personal experience.
During at least the first week or two where the speaker announced the ban, I was almost slipping into depression, honestly, because I lost sleep. If I ever need for seek medical help, and I ever take medicine for sleep, I ever begin to take medicine for sleep. And guess what? If not to God, good people around you and the grace of God, for we don't suffer some serious problem, because medically, my doctor will tell me, say, Melvin, if you continue like this, you might develop low blood pressure. So that is my own personal experience as to how some of the things that we take for granted, they affect with psychological states of well-being. I'm happy, but should that be a deterrent for me not for doing my job? That is just what it is. Now the country will fend itself. Because this speaks to the broader fact. No wonder U.S. ambassador, they tell you, say, Bokuma, where they go story. Bokuma, where they go, another one for comeback. Why? Because the unhappiness factors then two Bokunaya. But again, you have a choice to make. If I be one for happy, maybe it's for don't go be father. But I not say, I think father, they're much better there in the church. Or if I don't find a profession where much more. Because again, the profession where you defend yourself, it got to do with you happiness or unhappiness. So certain job they really do. Marcus, if you are a pilot, Your happiness level cannot be to that of the journalist too. If you are a lawyer, your happiness level cannot be to that of the fisherman. So your profession also can contribute to your happiness. I agree with that. But the bottom line remains there is a concordance. Nobody not talks to the report. Even after we try for free for state imposition, at the end of the day, you see it come out. This is a thing you cannot not also politicize. The reality, not the reality. So for the fact that all the people already send the messages they want to talk to, then they agree.
But for your sneakle on the YouTube, in say glad because peace.
John Pius Nicola, I would say you say that now you peace will enjoy so. Wherein people are frustrated and they are stressed, that peace they can turn to anything at any time. Go and read the TRC reports. And then when we do conflict, is it peace and conflict? There is a theory called frustration by aggression. Not so because God not the fire, not so because if you get relative peace, means to say you can take it for granted. And that is the problem. And I think that is the perception way for change. Because if you can say because all my wear fine clothes, people and get fine in your style, bab fine, they work on the street. That means they say no God not the fire. So you mean I mean that is not an excuse. So if you are that is a distraction and a deviation tactics. I don't know where you come up from, but if you come up from and say because of everything peaceful, so you are happy. Peace is one aspect of happiness, but happiness doesn't mean peacefulness. No, there is a thin line, but there is a distinction. You can be peaceful, but that doesn't mean you're happy. You have no choice. You just get to be peaceful because of you have to respect the rule of law. You know, say there are things where will bring you to order. But that doesn't mean to say when you suppress your sorrow, like bury your sorrow. That doesn't mean to say you're happy. So, George, yes, peace is good, but unhappiness is a threat to peace, security, and stability.
And at this time, waiting governments for land from some of the index here where they come out.
I think the government will go back to the drawing board. They should not dispute the report, but ask themselves what can be done. And in this case, we need to have policies, we need to have facilities to make people happy. Sometimes you go to the normal, you feel happy, but we not get them. So first policies, facilities, and for we the Sierra Leoneans, the SSSF, we understand that there is a vast gap between the haves and the have-nots. And in so doing, not only government institutions, we SSSF will try for reduce the gap. If you know you have more than enough, you know see your neighbor the suffer, you know help. You know, we need for be helpful to ourselves. We need for see ourselves as human beings. Ask yourself, that person when ask the big, what if not be me? That picky will not get thing for it. What if not be me picking? So we need to get generally now a sense of humanity back, where we all lost as a result of multiple factors, institutional, governmental, and personal.
All right, let me just wrap up with Marcus. What do you think they need for be done as soon as possible? If not for address everything because it will take time, but as soon as possible, waiting at the short-term thing and where government for focus on if you want your citizens and for be happy.
Yes, we get a lot to be done if really government, because I get the will, wants the people are happy. But before I start the ball rolling on that, Pius, they talk about as far as peace day. Now, if you do a kind of account for check and proper, Salone are the 8th happiest country in Africa now. Before, Salone don't do one Africa. But that old record, that man and just gap. You understand? Let them go further in research. How we reach from 4 to 8. You understand? That is how you say we are not happy. Are they in line with these particular reports? You understand? So looking at it in a very general perspective, government, we say, is like a cow generator. You get the president at the helm of affairs. It is a kind of collective responsibility on the side of government and also individuals, not the states. But the load there on government, because then they pass policies, then also parliaments, because government generates policies, pass on a parliament for become law. So when you look at we don't get nothing other than put governance structures in place. You understand? We need very strong institutions, not powerful individuals, as Barack Obama once said. Right now, if you look at the institutions, then the individuals within the institution, they are more powerful than the institution itself. We get judiciary, for example. The judiciary gets very important role for perform, because the aspect of justice is very important in the state. If you twist and turn justice, the possibility for make the other departments there will be very, very difficult. You understand? So the judicial system, therefore, actually ensure say you can do a lot of things, because you get the judicial system, you get the judiciary itself, you get the police, you get the prisons. You understand? Now, aspects we will make people in a salon happy if at all the judiciary actually doubling efforts. You look at other parameters in governance, right? You don't talk about the institutions then. What about looking at the, because one thing they make we extremely unhappy. Government just need for work on that. You understand? Say human rights, like universal rights. There is no need for us to make a segregation, because once you make a segregation, you get the tendency for make people then go haywire. For example, they say you can dehumanize somebody. You understand? To an extent that it becomes demonic. And the reaction of that person there, you understand, will be very detrimental to the state. So if you look at that, we address the issues of institutions then. We look at issue of electoral integrity, because it's for all of us. If you go back to history, right, me say democracy gets a breakdown will lead to crisis in the country in 1967. Because during that period, there was an election, one side win, the other side say nothing. From that Sunday, that pattern, that trend, they don't carry on. People like Canada governments, they get the way how they do. So it's very, very bad. Government get a look at governance, structures, make sure them put them in place. If we do so, then I think it's going to be free. We self don't go mention we. By better side, me and Melvin go smile. We all have smile.
All right, many thanks, gentlemen. We're not going at the studio this morning for can talk about the World Happiness Index, a survey where researchers then do for country them in the world for know how the people them waiting in their country are so they live, if they're happy or not. And Salon, they na the bottom 5 among Afghanistan, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and other country them where them believe in the least country them we not happy. We get Melvin Tijan Mansare, a journalist and also a social commentator. We get Marcos Bangura, a political analyst and also a civil society activist. We don't discuss some of the indicators them we make Salon continue for the bottom 5. And country there like Finland for the 8th year now in a row, then the top the happiness index. So it means say they're happy past all the people in the world. Well, now they end the breakfast.
Please subscribe to my new YouTube channel Don CLIN and hit the notification bell to be notified for new videos.